Okay, we have started our drug acting on CNS, and we have seen this part pharmacological actions of adrenaline or adrenaline and the other catecholamines. Also, we have seen this part. Last lecture we have seen this isoprenaline, then dopamine, phenodipam, dobutamine, and doxepamine. So these are nothing but the catecholamine, means they will have benzene ring to hydroxyl group adjacent to hydroxyl group on benzene ring. So that nucleus is known as a catechol nucleus, and those structure which are a derivative of catechol nucleus, they are known as catecholamines, like adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, then this phenodipam, dobutamine, dopexamine, etc. Isoprenaline. So these are nothing but they having catechol nucleus. So that's why they are known as catecholamines. Now we are seeing this sympathomimetics. We have seen the and introduction to autonomic nervous system, then functions of autonomic nervous system, then distribution, etc. Synthesis, storage, release of neurotransmitter, all neurotransmitter we have seen that, and after that we have seen the pharmacological actions of noradrenaline and adrenaline. After that we were seeing the catecholamines synthetic one, that is isoprenaline, then phenodipam. This we have also this completed this. Now in this session we will see the remaining part of that. So first one is a non-catecholamines. So these sympathomimetic drugs. Sympathomimetic is they will show the actions like your noradrenaline. Sympathomimetic मतलब क्या होता है कि उनका जो एक्शंस होता है वो किसकी जैसे होगा, नॉर एड्रेनालिन जैसे होगा, या फिर सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम स्टिमुलेशन होने के बाद भी जो एक्शन मिलता है उस तरीके का होगा. सो sympathomimetic drugs means what? They will show the similar action like noradrenaline, or they will show the action when there is a stimulation of sympathetic nervous system. So in that also you have natural catecholamines like noradrenaline, adrenaline, dopamine, then synthetic one isoprenaline and all that, we have seen. Now non-catecholamines drugs means those sympathomimetic drugs which are non-catecholamines. They will not have catechol in their structure. So those drugs, they also stimulate the sympathetic nervous system. So what are these drugs? These drugs are known as non-catecholamines. So sympathomimetic amines without catechol nucleus, for example, ephedrine, amphetamine, and other vasopressor agents. So you see the structure of this amphetamine and ephedrine. So you will not find any catechol nucleus in the structure. That's why they are known as a non-catecholamines. How they will act then? So they will act. What is the mechanism of action? उनका mechanism क्या रहेगा? So ये तो catecholamines नहीं है, फिर इनका mechanism क्या है? So they will release the noradrenaline and dopamine. They will release the noradrenaline and dopamine from the neuronal endings. वो क्या करेंगे? Release करेंगे इनको dopamine को, noradrenaline को. और they will also have inhibitory effect on their reuptake mechanism. जो release, synthesis, release and reuptake होता है, सिंथेसिस, रिलीज, मेटाबॉलिज्म एंड रीअपटेक जो होता है न्यूरनल एंडिंग में. सो दोज बायोजेनिक अमाइंस, नॉरएड्रेनालिन, डोपामाइन, सेरोटोनिन. सो दीज दे आर synthesized locally in the synapse. They will be stored in the synaptic vesicles and they will be released after the signal. And some part of will be metabolized, some part of that neurotransmitter will be taken up. That is known as the reuptake. So these non-catecholamines, how they will act? Either they will release the noradrenaline or dopamine from neuronal ending, or they will cause inhibition of reuptake of noradrenaline, bioadrenosertolin and dopamine, and they will act as a partial agonist to the noradrenaline receptors. They will also act as a partial agonist to the noradrenaline. So that's how they will act. They will act like a sympathomimetics. Now next one is nothing but the first drug is nothing but the ephedrine. So amongst the non-catecholamines, first drug is nothing but the amphetamine. First drug is nothing but the ephedrine. So you know that this ephedrine is nothing but the alkaloid that is obtained from Ephedra gerardiana family, Ephedraceae or Gentianaceae. So this ephedrine is nothing but the alkaloid obtained from Ephedra. So this alkaloid is sympathomimetic in nature. So it will show the actions like noradrenaline. Okay, so it has a potential to stimulate both alpha as well as beta adrenergic receptors. So it stimulates both alpha as well as beta receptor, and also release. Okay, also release noradrenaline from sympathetic nerve ending. So यहाँ पे spelling mistake है, So release it will release the noradrenaline and adrenaline from nerve ending. So it will also act as a direct, okay, it will act by direct mechanism as well as indirect mechanism, both. So it will directly will be agonist for the alpha as well as beta receptor, and also indirectly releases the adrenaline noradrenaline from nerve ending. Now what are the pharmacological actions? So all these sympathomimetic drug, they will have similar pharmacological actions, okay, like noradrenaline. So what is action on cardiovascular system? Obviously noradrenaline क्या करता है? It will increase the force of contraction. So obviously this epinephrine will also increase the force of contraction. So increases the force of contraction on the cardiovascular system, increases the peripheral, it causes peripheral vasoconstriction as that of noradrenaline, and also increases the cardiac output. But this epinephrine is liable for रैपिड टॉलरेंस. जैसे होता है कि आपका टॉलरेंस डेवलप होने के लिए एक टाइम लगता है, स्पेसिफिक टाइम. टू डेवलप अ टॉलरेंस टू ए ड्रग यू नीड ए टाइम, ओके. सो फॉर एग्जांपल आपने कोई भी अलग ड्रग लिया दूसरा कोई, तो उसको टॉलरेंस मतलब डेवलप होने के लिए टाइम लगता है. जैसे मान लीजिए कि अल्कोहल लीजिए, तो आदमी अगर जब अल्कोहल लेना स्टार्ट करता है तो इनिशियली वो सेंसिटिव होता है. उसने अगर 30 ml भी अल्कोहल ले लिया तो वो उसका डिजायर्ड जो भी एक्शन है उसका, जैसे जैसे उसका इफोरिया वगैरह होना, तो उसका 30 ml में हो जाता है. लेकिन अगर 15 दिन के बाद वो 30 ml में नहीं होगा, उसके लिए लगेंगे 60 ml. अभी 2 महीने के बाद उसके लिए लगेंगे 90 ml. 3 महीने के बाद वो पूरा बेवड़ा हो जाएगा और उसको बहुत सारा अल्कोहल लगेगा, ठीक है. दैट इज नोन एज अ टॉलरेंस. So increase in dose, if increase in dose of drug is required for generation of particular pharmacological response, that is known as a tolerance. So increase in dose of that particular drug is required to produce a certain pharmacological action, that is known as a tolerance, okay. Now this ephedrine has a very rapid tolerance. So this tolerance to action of ephedrine develops very rapidly and within a short time, and this is known as a tachyphylaxis. So they might ask you a question like this, one of the following drug will show tachyphylaxis. So this ephedrine has a tachyphylaxis. Tachyphylaxis means very rapid tolerance. Tachyphylaxis means rapid tolerance, okay. Now what is action on smooth muscle? Smooth muscles of bronchus. So obviously smooth muscle of bronchi will be relaxed. जो आपके bronchial smooth muscle है या फिर आपका tracheal smooth muscle है, so that will be relaxed, and that's why it has a application in the asthma, okay. Again uterus जो है, uterine smooth muscle also be relaxed. It enhances the tone of trigone and sphincter of bladder. Urinary bladder है, so the smooth muscle of urinary bladder will be the sphincter will be constricted, okay. Urine retention will be there, okay. So it has a relaxation action on bronchial smooth muscle, uterine smooth muscle, and has a increase in tone in the your trigone muscle of your urethra. Now what is the action of this ephedrine on CNS? So ephedrine acts by activating the reticular activating system. It activates your reticular activating system in the CNS and can produce restlessness, insomnia, restlessness, tremors, okay. Increased mental activity, means it has a stimulatory action on CNS. So ephedrine stimulates the CNS and it activates the reticular activating system, and this reticular activating system is associated with the potential addiction. So those drugs which act on this reticular activating system, they are liable for addiction. So this ephedrine is also liable for addiction. Then on what is the action on eyes? As noradrenaline causes mydriasis. Noradrenaline क्या करेगा? Mydriasis करेगा आपके eyes में. तो कुछ उसी तरह के एक्शन ephedrine का भी है. So ephedrine also causes mydriasis. Mydriasis means increase in the size of pupil, okay. So it will also cause mydriasis. Then metabolic effect. So what is the metabolic effect? So it increases the oxygen consumption and metabolic rate. So it increases the metabolic rate and oxygen consumption. So it has a positive action on metabolism. Now these are the pharmacological action of ephedrine. Now what is the adverse effect? So adverse effect are nothing but the GIT upset. Gastrointestinal system जो है उसको upset करेगा. Difficulty in urination में difficulty, insomnia, tremors. Rarely it can cause psychotic symptoms because it stimulates the CNS. That's why it can cause psychosis, and rarely it will also act as a hallucinogen. ये थोड़ा सा stimulate करता है CNS को, so it may act as a psychotic or hallucinogen as it activates the reticular activating system. Now what are the therapeutic uses of this drug? उसका use क्या रहेगा? So what are the therapeutic uses? So So it is used in remember bronchial asthma. It is used in the bronchial asthma. It is also used as a nasal decongestant. So if you have increased secretion in the respiratory tract and nose, so at that time it is used as a nasal decongestant. It is also used in the hypotension, not hypertension, hypotension. Then again Stokes-Adam syndrome. Stokes-Adam syndrome. It is a syndrome where there is a sudden decrease in the blood pressure due to cardiovascular complication. जब आपके हार्ट में कोई कॉम्प्लिकेशन होता है तो सडन डिक्रीज इन ब्लड प्रेशर होता है, तो उसको बोलते हैं स्टॉक्स-अडम सिंड्रोम. So to increase the blood pressure, this epinephrine is used. Then it is also a mydriatic. Mydriatic means it will increase the pupil size. Then it is also used in the treatment of narcolepsy. Narcolepsy means daytime sedation. Daytime sedation मतलब दिन में बैठे बैठे सो जा रहा है, बहुत सारी नींद दिन में. जैसे कोई बहुत ज़्यादा आवाज़ हो गया तो उसको नींद का एपिसोड्स होता है, उसको अटैक आता है, daytime sedation attack, daytime sleep. That is known as narcolepsy. Then it is also used in the whooping cough, which is caused by Bordetella pertussis. Then it is used in the urinary incontinence. Urinary incontinence means you cannot control your urine. So you are not able to hold the urine. नॉर्मली आपको क्या होता है, जैसे आपका यूरिन का फीलिंग आता है, एक टाइम स्पेन होता है, हाफ एन आवर तक आप होल्ड कर सकते हो यूरिन. दैट इज नोन एज अ कंट्रोल. ओके, सो इन urinary incontinence means unable to control the urine. You cannot control the urine. So that is urinary incontinence. So patient कभी भी यूरिन पास कर देता है. So urinary incontinence. And nocturnal enuresis. Nocturnal enuresis means bed wetting, जो बच्चों में मैक्सिमम होता है. nocturnal enuresis मतलब बेड वेटिंग फिनोमेना. और बेड वेटिंग जो बच्चे में होता है मैक्सिमम, छोटे छोटे बच्चे होते हैं वो बेड को खराब कर देते हैं. So it is used to treat the bedwetting also. Remember the therapeutic uses of epinephrine: bronchial asthma, then nasal decongestant, as a nasal decongestant, hypotension, Stokes-Adam syndrome. It is also used as a mydriatic. It is also used in the treatment of narcolepsy, whooping cough, urinary incontinence, nocturnal enuresis, and sometimes used in the urticaria. Urticaria मतलब inflammation of your skin. Pseudoephedrine is nothing but the stereoisomer of ephedrine. So ephedrine का एक stereoisomer है, उसको बोलते हैं pseudoephedrine. It is more potent than ephedrine. It is also used as a nasal decongestant. But this pseudoephedrine is having less cardiovascular side effect as compared to ephedrine. ठीक है, ephedrine का ही भाई है थोड़ा सा pseudoephedrine. और याद रखो इपेड्रिन का स्ट्रक्चर GPAT 2022 में पूछा. सो दे हैव ऑलरेडी आस्क्ड द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ इपेड्रिन इन GPAT 2022. Okay, when we will see the same chapter from chemistry point of view, at the time I will explain the structure and all that. Okay, so just remember this. Now we will see the next point. Now next is another drug, another non-catecholamine known as amphetamine. So structural aspect will be again seen in the another lecture. Now amphetamine. So it is a structurally similar to your ephedrine. It is available in the racemic mixture, means 2 dextro as well as levoform, equal mixture of D and L. So it is available as a racemic mixture. And remember, dextro form of this amphetamine is 3 to 4 times more potent than levoform for central effect, and levoform is slightly more potent than dextro for cardiovascular effect. So whatever action on CNS of this amphetamine is there, so that is due to dextroisomer. Whatever effect of this amphetamine on cardiovascular system, that is due to your levo. Okay, you can say it like that. So dextroisomer is more potent for central effect and levoisomer is more potent for cardiovascular effect. Okay, now this amphetamine is it is provided in the racemic mixture. Okay, equal amount of D and L isomer. Now let's see the pharmacological actions on CNS. On CNS, it is a potent CNS stimulant. क्या है ये? CNS stimulant. It is a potent CNS stimulant. It acts by releasing the catecholamines from the storage site from the neurons. So neuronal ending में क्या करता है कि जो catecholamines होते हैं, noradrenaline, dopamine, so it will release that. So it acts as a CNS stimulant by releasing the catecholamines from the storage sites of neuronal ending. And in large doses, it also releases the dopamine. So in small doses, it releases the noradrenaline, and in higher dosage also release the dopamine. It produces, because of releasing this dopamine, it produces psychic effect. So we have seen the antipsychotic drug because of the increased level of dopamine in the mesolimbic system. So it releases the dopamine, and that's why it can produce psychic effect, mental and physical, psychic effect, mental and physical, increased physical activity. It can cause euphoria. Euphoria means false feeling of well-being. Then it can produce psychic effect. It is an analeptic. Analeptic means CNS stimulant. And because of producing this euphoria, this drug is again a drug of abuse. So इसकी लत लग जाती है एम्फेटामाइन की. So similar kind of drug like morphine. Morphine भी क्या है? Morphine also produces the euphoria, and because of that euphoria, morphine has a addiction liability, and same is true with this amphetamine. So amphetamine also produces euphoria, and that's why it is a drug of abuse. जैसे मतलब euphoria मतलब false feeling of well-being. तो आपको लग रहा है नहीं सब कुछ अच्छा है, लेकिन अच्छा नहीं है. कार्डियोवास्कुलर सिस्टम की क्या, व्हाट इज द एक्शन ऑन कार्डियोवास्कुलर सिस्टम? सो इट इंक्रीजेस बोथ सिस्टोलिक एज वेल एज डायस्टोलिक ब्लड प्रेशर. सो ब्लड प्रेशर इंक्रीज करेगा. व्हाट इज एक्शन ऑन स्मूथ मसल्स? It can contract a sphincter of bladder and relaxes the bronchial smooth muscle. In large doses, so it constricts the sphincter of bladder. So urine retention will be there. Relaxes the bronchial smooth muscle means there is an increase in the diameter of bronchioles. So it is useful in the asthma. Okay, but because it is liable for abuse, it is not used. Now it is an appetite suppressant. Appetite suppressant मतलब क्या? भूख लगने नहीं देगा आपको. ये क्या करेगा? आपको आपकी जो भूख है उसको मार देगा. इट इज एपेटाइट सप्रेसेंट, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस प्रॉपर्टीज इट इज यूज्ड समटाइम्स, नॉट क्लिनिकली इट इज यूज्ड, बट इट कैन बी यूज्ड फॉर द ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ ओबेसिटी अगर है तो उसमें ये ड्रग देते हैं जो कि उसको देने के बाद खाने से मन उठ जाता है आदमी का. सो इट इज एपेटाइट सप्रेसेंट. ओके, नाउ व्हाट आर द एडवर्स रिएक्शंस ऑफ दिस एम्फेटामाइन? सो एज इट इज CNS stimulant, euphoric, and it can produce psychic symptoms. So palpitation, रेस्टलेसनेस, हेडेक, CNS स्टिमुलेशन, विजुअल हेलुसिनेशन मतलब क्या? जो सामने नहीं है वो भी दिख रहा है आपको. जो सामने आपके सामने नहीं है, आपके सामने कुछ भी नहीं है, आप अकेले हो, सामने कुछ भी नहीं है, और आपको अचानक आपके सामने शेर दिखता है, या फिर कोई टाइगर दिखता है, या फिर आपको कोई भगवान दिखता है, तो दैट इज नोन एज अ विजुअल हेलुसिनेशन. मिसपरसेप्शन. ठीक है, मिसपरसेप्शन मतलब क्या? कोई चीज़ अगर गर्म है तो आपको लग रही है कि नहीं वो ठंडी है. सो मिसपरसेप्शन. साइकोसिस. सो दीज आर द एडवर्स इफेक्ट. नाउ थेरापेटिक यूजेस. व्हाट आर द थेरापेटिक यूजेस ऑफ दिस एम्फेटामाइन? सो इट इज यूज्ड एज अ ड्रग. इट इज यूज्ड इन द ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ अटेंशन डेफिसिट हाइपर एक्टिविटी डिसऑर्डर. इसको अटेंशन नहीं कर सकते, वो कॉन्सेंट्रेट नहीं कर सकते पर्टिकुलर टास्क के ऊपर, उनमें कन्फ्यूजन बहुत होता है, सो वो कॉन्सेंट्रेट नहीं कर पाते. तो that is nothing but the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So it is used in the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It is also used in the narcolepsy, daytime sedation. It is also used for the treatment of obesity, but it is not recommended for that purpose because it is a addiction forming drug. Now we will see the next one. Next one is nothing but the non-catecholamine drug, which are used as a vasopressor, which are used to increase the blood pressure. तो अपन ने देखा है non-catecholamines used for their central effect. Now non-catecholamines for their cardiovascular effect. So these drugs are given by parenteral route to increase the blood pressure, to correct the hypotension due to cardiogenic shock, and to prevent and treat hypotension due to न्यूरोजेनिक शॉक. सो जो न्यूरोजेनिक और आपको कार्डियोजेनिक शॉक है उसकी वजह से जो हाइपोटेंशन हो गया, हाइपोटेंशन, सो उसकी वजह से जो हाइपोटेंशन हो गया, सो टू करेक्ट दैट हाइपोटेंशन, टू इंक्रीज द ब्लड प्रेशर, so these non-catecholamine vasopressor drug they are used. Okay, so to correct the cardiac arrhythmia associated with the hypertension cardiac arrhythmia associated with the hypotension in treatment of paroxysmal and atrial tachycardia. So for example, first drug of this category is metraminol, then second one is a mepenteramine, and then phenylephrine. So metraminol is a drug used to increase the blood pressure. It acts by mainly पेरीफेरल वैसोकंस्ट्रिक्शन, मतलब जो भी पेरीफेरल नर्व्स है, पेरीफेरल ब्लड वेसल्स है आपकी, जैसे आपके पेरीफेरल में ब्लड वेसल, सेंट्रल जो मेन ब्लड वेसल है वो छोड़ दो, जैसे सुपेरियर वेना कवा, इंफीरियर वेना कवा, देन योर अवर्टा एक्सेट्रा. सो उसको छोड़ दो, बाकी जो ब्लड वेसल्स है, arteries and capillaries venules, so they used to contract it. This metrominol increases the blood pressure by peripheral vasoconstriction. It is also has a longer duration of action. It is a less potent than adrenaline, so it also increases the force of contraction and cardiac output. So therefore it is used for the mainly for increasing the blood pressure. Now next one is a mephenteramine. Mephenteramine acts centrally as well as indirectly by releasing the noradrenaline from neuronal endings. Actions are similar to ephedrine. It causes CNS stimulation. Mephenteramine. Now next drug is a phenylephrine. Phenylephrine is a potent selective alpha-1 receptor stimulant or alpha-1 receptor agonist. Selective alpha-1 receptor agonist. Phenylephrine. Now you might have read about this phenylephrine. So it is used in the nasal decongestion. So whatever anti-cold tablet are there, जितने भी एंटी कोल्ड टैबलेट होते हैं कोल्ड के लिए, कॉमन कोल्ड एंड फ्लू, तो उसके जो टैबलेट आता है उसमें ये फिनिलेप्रिन नाम का ड्रग होता है, फिनिलेप्रिन. ओके, सो पोटेंट सेलेक्टिव अल्फा-1 रिसेप्टर स्टिमुलेंट एंड इट इज आल्सो अगेन यूज्ड एज अ nasal decongestant and mydriatic locally in the eyes. So that is phenylephrine. Now we'll see the next. So this will next one is a methoxamine. So it is again a non-selective alpha agonist. Okay, so non-selective alpha agonist. Non-selective मतलब क्या, अल्फा रिसेप्टर होता है उसमें दो टाइप होता है, अल्फा 1 अल्फा 2. तो नॉन सेलेक्टिव मतलब अल्फा 1 को भी स्टिमुलेट करेगा, अल्फा 2 को भी स्टिमुलेट करेगा. सेलेक्टिव मतलब क्या, सेलेक्टिव मतलब अगर सेलेक्टिव अल्फा 1 है तो वो सिर्फ अल्फा 1 को ही स्टिमुलेट करता है, जैसे आपका फिनिलेप्रिन है, दैट इज अ सेलेक्टिव अल्फा 1 स्टिमुलेंट. सो मिथोक्सामाइन इज अ नॉन सेलेक्टिव अगेन, नॉन सेलेक्टिव अल्फा एगोनिस्ट एंड इंक्रीजेज द ब्लड प्रेशर बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स प्योरली वैसोकंस्ट्रिक्टेड इफेक्ट. नाउ मिसलेनियस कंपाउंड में आता है आपका आइसोक्सोप्यूरिन. सो इट इज अ सेलेक्टिव बीटा 2 receptor agonist. So I already told you what is the role of beta 2, what is the role of beta 1. So mostly beta 1 receptor is a stimulatory in nature and they are present in the peripheral blood vessel. So those drugs which are stimulant to beta 1 receptor, so they will increase the blood pressure. Okay, and those which will block the alpha 1 receptor selectively, that will decrease the blood pressure. That's why alpha 1 blocker are used in the hypertension. Now what is the beta 2? Alpha 2 is a inhibitory, beta 1 is a stimulatory, it is present in the heart. Now beta 2 is present in your lungs. Beta 2 is present in the lungs and smooth muscle of uterus and all that. Now this isoxapirin is a selective beta 2 agonist. Okay, and it will selective beta 2 receptor agonist. It has a potent inhibitory effect on the smooth muscles, okay, of the blood vessel. Okay, and it is recommended in the treatment of dysmenorrhea. Dysmenorrhea मतलब abnormal discharge from female gonadal ovum. So dysmenorrhea. So isoxapirin is used in the treatment of dysmenorrhea, threatened abortion, premature labor and peripheral vascular disease, as it is a vasodilator. Okay, and it also dilates our uterus. So that's why it is used in the threatened abortion and premature labor. So also used to treat the peripheral vascular disease and uterine smooth muscle. It is uterine smooth muscle relaxant. Now next category is nasal decongestant. Those drugs which are used as a nasal decongestant. So in that you have ephedrine. Okay, ephedrine hydrochloride. About this ephedrine we have seen. Now this xylomethazoline, oxymethazoline, okay, propylhexidine, pseudoephedrine, phenylpropylamine and phenylephrine. These are the drugs, they are used as a nasal decongestant. Remember, ephedrine, xylomethazoline, oxymethazoline, propylhexidine and pseudoephedrine, phenylpropylamine, phenylephrine. These are used as a nasal decongestant. Okay, along with their vasopressor effect. So this xylomethazoline, oxymethazoline, they are nothing but the selective alpha 1 agonist. xylomethazoline जो है, oxymethazoline जो है, so these are selective alpha 1 agonist like phenylephrine. जैसे phenylephrine जो है selective alpha 1 agonist है, so likewise xylomethazoline, oxymethazoline, these are also selective alpha 1 agonist and they are also used as a nasal decongestant. ठीक है, आपने एक ऑट्रिविन नाम का नजल ड्रॉप देखा होगा, ऑट्रिविन नजल ड्रॉप. तो उसमें होता है xylomethazoline. एट्रोपिक रेनिटिस, that is रेंटिस मेडिकामेंटोसा इज अ लॉन्ग टर्म एडवर्स इफेक्ट ऑफ xylomethazole, याद रखो इसको, क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. एट्रोपिक रिनाइटिस और रिनाइटिस मेडिकामेंटोसा इज द एडवर्स इफेक्ट ऑफ योर xylomethazole एंड related drug मतलब xylomethazolin, oxymethazolin, etc. So all their family xylomethazolin, oxymethazolin, so they will have atrophic rhinitis or rhinitis medicamentosa as a adverse effect upon long term use. Okay, इसके related question I think आ भी चुका है. Now next one is ephedrine is a vasopressor and drug of vasopressor in the pregnancy. इसके ऊपर भी question आ चुका है. So ephedrine is a vasopressor of choice in the pregnancy. Ephedrine is a vasopressor of choice in the pregnancy. Ephedrine is a vasopressor of choice in the pregnancy. Remember this. Now selective alpha 2 beta 2 stimulant. Selective alpha 2 and beta 2 stimulant. Selective alpha 2 stimulant like clonidine, methyl dopa. So those two drugs will be discussed in the antihypertensive chapter. So when we will take antihypertensive, at that time central alpha 2 agonist like methyl dopa, clonidine, proclonidine, etc. So those drugs will be discussed when we will take antihypertensive. Then selective beta 2 stimulant. So यहाँ पे देखो selective alpha 2 stimulant मतलब क्या, अल्फा 2 रिसेप्टर जो होता है वो आपके ब्रेन में प्री साइनेप्टिक न्यूरॉन में होता है, पोस्ट नहीं प्री, एंड दैट कंट्रोल्स द रिलीज ऑफ कैटेकोलामाइंस. ओके, सो दैट्स व्हाई दिस selective alpha 2 agonist, they are useful to control the blood pressure. They are useful as an antihypertensive drug. Now beta receptor कहाँ रहता है, beta 2 receptor, so it is present in the bronchial smooth muscle. So selective beta 2 agonist they are used in the treatment of asthma. So they will be discussed in the anti-asthmatic chapter, or when we will discuss the drug therapy of cough, at that time beta 2 stimulant will be discussed, and when we will see antihypertensive drug, at that time selective alpha 2 stimulant will be discussed. Okay, we will see the remaining points. Now next one is nothing but this was regarding the selective agonist sympathomimetic drugs. Now we will see the sympatholytic drugs. Okay, so what do you mean by sympatholytics? So those which will prevent the action of noradrenaline, they are nothing but the sympatholytics. Okay, sympathomimetics means they will copy the actions of noradrenaline. Sympatholytics means they will break the action of, or they will block the action of noradrenaline. Sympathomimetics मतलब noradrenaline की जैसे एक्शन दिखाएंगे. सिंपैथोलाइटिक मतलब नॉरएड्रेनालिन के एक्शन ब्लॉक करेंगे. ठीक है, सो सिंपैथोमाइमेटिक्स हो चुका है. नाउ सिंपैथोलाइटिक्स, सो ड्रग that is sympatholytics. So as I have told you, sympatholytics, first of all you should know what are the different receptor of sympathetic nervous system. That is nothing but the alpha receptor and beta receptor. So alpha is divided into alpha 1, alpha 2, beta is divided into beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. These drugs can block either alpha or beta, or both alpha plus beta, or they can selectively block alpha 1, or they can selectively block alpha 2, they can selectively block beta 1, beta 2 or beta 3. Out of that alpha blockers and beta blockers, both are useful in the therapeutics. First we will see the alpha blockers. So in that also you have non-selective and selective. So alpha blockers, adrenergic alpha blockers. First one is a non-selective alpha blockers. Non-selective means they will block alpha 1 as well as alpha 2. In that you have different subclasses. First one is haloalkylamines derivative. So in that you have this dibenamine and phenoxybenzamine. Then natural compound you have ergot alkaloids. Then imidazoline compound, pentolamine and tolazoline. So remember the class non-selective alpha blockers. Okay, ये alpha 1 को भी ब्लॉक करेंगे, alpha 2 को भी ब्लॉक करेंगे. तो इसमें डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द केमिकल स्ट्रक्चर. haloalkylamines you have dibenamine and phenoxybenzamine. Natural compound you have ergot alkaloids. So you have seen in the Dell's vasomotor reversal. Dell's vasomotor reversal is because of the blocking of alpha receptor by ergot alkaloid. Then imidazolidine derivative, pentolamine and tolazoline. ऑलरेडी इसके ऊपर क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. पेंटोलामाइन, टोलाजोलिन, दे आर इमिडाजोलिन डेरिवेटिव सेलेक्टिव अल्फा ब्लॉकर. non-selective alpha blocker, selective alpha 1 blocker, selective alpha 1 blocker. Now this non-selective alpha blocker also has a therapeutic application. This selective alpha blocker has a good therapeutic application as anti-hypertensive drug. Selective alpha blocker कौन है? Prazosin, terazosin, doxazosin, indoramine. Remember this class. Selective alpha 1 blocker, prazosin, terazosin, doxazosin, indoramine. So these are the selective alpha 1 blocker. So they have application in the hypertension. They are used as a anti-hypertensive agent. Okay. Same drug will be discussed in the anti-hypertensive chapter also. Now selective alpha 2 blocker. So this will not have much application in the therapeutics. Selective alpha 2 blockers will not have application in the therapeutics. But drug is nothing but the yohimbine. So yohimbine is nothing but the selective alpha 2 blocker. तो इसमें याद रखो आपको ये क्लासिफिकेशन याद ही होना चाहिए, कौन सिलेक्टिव है कौन नॉन सिलेक्टिव है, कौन सिलेक्टिव अल्फा 1 है कौन सिलेक्टिव अल्फा 2 है. इसके ऊपर ऑलरेडी क्वेश्चन आ चुका है, योहिम्बिन के ऊपर भी ऑलरेडी एक बार क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. सो वंस अगेन आई विल टेल यू. याद रखो अल्फा ब्लॉकर्स, एड्रेनर्जिक अल्फा ब्लॉकर्स. सो फर्स्ट वन इज नॉन सिलेक्टिव. इन दैट यू हैव 3 सब क्लासेस. हेलो अल्कलामाइंस, एग्जाम्पल डाइबेनामाइन एंड फिनॉक्सीबेंजामाइन. नेचुरल में आता है आपका अर्गोट अल्कलॉइड्स. इमिडाजोलिन डेरिवेटिव में आता है पेंटोलामाइन एंड टोलाजोलिन. सिलेक्टिव अल्फा 1 ब्लॉकर, ये सिर्फ अल्फा 1 को ही ब्लॉक करेंगे. नॉन सिलेक्टिव दोनों को करेंगे, अल्फा 1 प्लस अल्फा 2. सिलेक्टिव अल्फा 1 में आता है आपका प्राजोसिन, टेराजोसिन, डॉक्साजोसिन एंड इंडोरामाइन. सिलेक्टिव अल्फा 2 ब्लॉकर में आता है योहिम्बिन. सो दिस इज नथिंग बट द अल्फा ब्लॉकर्स. नाउ विल सी adrenergic alpha blocker classification. So adrenergic alpha blockers, they are classified into again 2 type. First one is a competitive antagonist, second is a non-competitive antagonist. So non-competitive antagonist ये जो है non-competitive. First one is a non-competitive और non-equilibrium type. For example beta haloalkylamines में phenoxybenzamine. And then competitive blockers, competitive alpha 1 blockers. So in that you have 3 subclass. So selective alpha 2 blocker yohimbine, selective alpha 1 blockers like parazosin, terazosin, doxazosin, alpuzosin and tamsulosin. So remember now these alpha blockers, they are useful as an anti-hypertensive agent. One. Second, alpha 1 receptor is also present in the prostate gland. जो prostate gland होता है आपका, prostate ग्रंथि जो होता है उसमें भी alpha 1 receptor होता है. And that's why these selective alpha 1 blockers, they are useful in the as an anti-hypertensive drug and also useful in the benign prostate hyperplasia, benign prostate hypertrophy. Okay, so particularly this alpozosin and tamsulosin. So these 2 drugs, they are useful in the benign prostate hypertrophy. Then non-selective. Now non-selective, we have already seen the classification, but still I will see. Non-selective again divided into ergot alkaloids like ergotamine, ergodoxin. Then halogenated ergot alkaloids. So those are ergot alkaloids which are a derivative of halogen. Dihydro ergotamine, dihydro ergodoxin. Imidazolin. So pentolamine and tolazolin. Remember pentolamine and tolazolin, imidazolin. Then miscellaneous, that is a chlorpromazine. So it is again a classification of adrenergic blocking agent. Classification I am taking 2 times because it is important. Okay, first drug is a dibenamine and phenoxybenzamine and dibenamine. So they are a non-competitive alpha receptor blocker. They are a non-competitive alpha receptor blocker. They are non-competitive, non-selective. Okay, so phenoxybenzamine is a more potent than dibenamine. Phenoxybenzamine is a 6 to 10 times more potent than dibenamine. Phenoxybenzamine is a irreversible antagonist of alpha 1 and alpha 2. Use of these drugs before administration of adrenaline result in the Dell's vasomotor reversal as like that of the ergot alkaloids. जैसे होता है ना का एड्रेनालिन का क्या है, बायफेजिक रिस्पॉन्स है. एक बाय एक्टिंग ऑन अल्फा रिसेप्टर blood vessel it increases the blood pressure. By acting on a beta receptor on blood pressure it decreases the blood pressure. So it has a biphasic response. But if you give the patient prior this ergot alkaloids, so ergot alkaloid being alpha blockers, so they will block the alpha receptor and only beta receptor will be available for adrenaline action. So the biphasic response converted into depressor response, and this was observed by Sir Henry Dell, and that is known as the Dell's vasomotor reversal. So he observed that reversal by using ergot alkaloids. These dibenamine and phenoxybenzamine also can result in the Dale's vasomotor. Now remember, phenoxybenzamine is a prodrug and it is converted into active metabolite known as a ethylene ammonium, okay, by the process of cyclization. Okay, so phenoxybenzamine is a prodrug and it is converted into active metabolite, that is ethylene ammonium by process of cyclization. So ethylene ammonium is the active metabolite of phenoxybenzamine, and they can prevent the arrhythmia but cannot reverse the arrhythmia. They can prevent the arrhythmia. They are prophylactic antiarrhythmic drug, but they will not reverse the arrhythmia. Now they are non-specific alpha blocking action. That's why, okay, they are non-specific alpha blocker, and they also block the acetylcholine and histamine serotonin receptor also. So blocking of these receptor will show their adverse effect. Now what are the adverse reaction? Due to antagonization of acetylcholine receptor, histamine receptor and serotonin receptor. So meiosis, dryness of mouth, nasal stiffness, then inhibition of ejaculation, palpitation, postural hypertension, nausea, vomiting. So these are the adverse effects because of blocking of these. So dibenamine and phenoxybenzamine, they are a non-selective alpha blocker. In addition to that, they will also block the acetylcholine, serotonin and histamine receptor. And blocking of these last three, that is acetylcholine, histamine and serotonin, they are prone for adverse effect. So whatever adverse effect are there, they are nothing but the because of the blocking of blocking of acetylcholine, histamine and serotonin. So meiosis, dryness of mouth, nasal stiffness, okay, meiosis, dryness of mouth, nasal stiffness, then inhibition of ejaculation in the males, palpitation, postural hypertension, nausea, vomiting. So these are the adverse effect of these. Now we will see the next drug. Next one is nothing but the ergot alkaloids, dehydrogenated ergot alkaloids. So they are used to treat the ऑर्थोस्टैटिक हाइपोटेंशन. ऑर्थोस्टैटिक हाइपोटेंशन मतलब क्या कि अगर देखो चेंज इन द ब्लड प्रेशर ड्यू टू चेंज इन द पोजीशन. अगर आप खड़े हो तो आपका ब्लड प्रेशर नॉर्मल है, अगर आप बैठ गए तो आपका हाइपोटेंशन हो जाएगा, ब्लड प्रेशर डाउन हो जाएगा, और आप लेट गए तो और भी डाउन हो जाएगा. सो दैट इज नथिंग बट द पोस्चरल हाइपोटेंशन. सो ऑर्थोस्टैटिक हाइपोटेंशन और पोस्चरल हाइपोटेंशन बोथ आर द सेम टर्म. सो चेंजिंग इन द पोस्चर result in the decrease in the blood pressure, that is orthostatic or postural hypotension. So this halogenated ergot alkaloids, they are used in the orthostatic hypotension due to autonomic neuropathy. They reduce the sympathetic tone by depressing the vasomotor center, and they causes bradycardia by central vagal stimulation and direct myocardial depression. So they are not much useful. Now selective alpha-1 blocker. This is important. They can ask question on this. So prazosin, terazosin, doxazosin, alpozocin and tamsulosin. Remember this drug. Prazosin, terazosin, doxazosin, alpozocin, tamsulosin. These are known as a selective alpha-1 blockers. We will see this drug again in our antihypertensive chapter also. So they are used to reduce the blood pressure in the hypertension. So that's why they are used in the they are used as an antihypertensive drug. And because this alpha-1 receptor is also present on the prostate gland, okay, so there it stimulate the formation of prostaglandin and prostacyclins. That's why they are also useful in the treatment of benign prostate hypertrophy, that is the prostate cancer. They also have favorable effect on lipid profile, means they will increase the high density lipoprotein and decrease the low density, means they will increase the good cholesterol, they will decrease the bad cholesterol. Now tamsulosin and psilocybin both are selective for prostatic alpha-1A receptor. ये जो tamsulosin है आपका और psilocybin जो है, that is more specific to the prostate gland receptor rather than your blood vessel receptor, and that's why they are used in the prostatic hyperplasia, benign prostatic hyperplasia. But their adverse effect is nothing but they can cause floppy iris syndrome during the cataract surgery. Remember tamsulosin, psilocybin, they are used in the benign prostate hyperplasia. प्रोस्टेट कैंसर होगा तो उसमें प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन्स ज़्यादा बनेगा वो प्रोस्टेट ग्लैंड. नेक्स्ट वन इज टोलाजोलिन एंड पेंटालामाइन. They are nothing but the imidazoline derivative. So in addition to alpha blocking activity, they can cause increase in the force of contraction of myocardium and cause tachycardia. Tolazoline is a partial alpha-1 agonist. इसके बारे में भी क्वेश्चन आ चुका. Partial alpha-1 agonist tolazoline. Now what are the therapeutic uses? उसका यूज़ क्या रहेगा? अल्फा एड्रेनर्जिक ब्लॉकर का. हाइपरटेंशन, देन फियोक्रोमोसाइटोमा. फियोक्रोमोसाइटोमा मीन्स इंक्रीज्ड साइज ऑफ योर प्रोस्टेट ग्लैंड. देन पेरिफेरल वैस्कुलर डिसीज, benign prostate hypertrophy. Then also used in the erectile dysfunction in the male. Erectile dysfunction in the male. Then again remember this selective alpha 1 blocker. They are mostly useful in the scorpion sting. ठीक है, स्कॉर्पियन स्टिंग मतलब बिच्छू ने अगर आपको काट लिया तो उसमें भी अल्फा 1 ब्लॉकर यूज़ करेंगे. So, मुझे बिच्छू लड़ गए रे वैसा. स्कॉर्पियन स्टिंग मतलब बिच्छू ने काट लिया तो उसमें. सो रिमेंबर ड्रग ऑफ चॉइस इज अ प्राजोसिन. Drug of choice in the scorpion sting, prazosin. These are the uses of your alpha 1 blockers. We'll see the beta blockers. Now beta blockers, so they are again classified into two, selective and non-selective. Okay, so first one is a non-selective beta blocker. Non-selective means they will block both alpha as well as they will block beta 1 as well as beta 2 receptor. Non-selective मतलब दोनों को भी ब्लॉक करेंगे, beta 1 beta 2 को. सेलेक्टिव मतलब सिर्फ बीटा 1 को ही ब्लॉक करेंगे. कार्डियो सिलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर, ठीक है, मतलब बीटा को ही ब्लॉक करेंगे, बीटा 1. नाउ सी नॉन सिलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर, सो विदाउट इंट्रिंसिक सिंपैथोमाइमेटिक एक्टिविटी. सो नॉन सिलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर विदाउट इंट्रिंसिक सिंपैथेटिक एक्टिविटी, मतलब ये बीटा ब्लॉकर ऐसे जिनको सिंपैथेटिक एक्टिविटी नहीं है, इंट्रिंसिक. सो दीज आर नथिंग बट द प्रोप्रानोलॉल, सोटेलॉल and timolol. Propranolol, sotalol, timolol. You can remember PST. Okay, PST. So without intrinsic sympathomimetic act. Non-selective. देखो propranolol क्या है? Non-selective. Non-selective beta blocker with intrinsic sympathomimetic act. It is a pindolol. Non-selective beta blocker with additional alpha 1 blocking activity. तो ये क्या करेंगे? बीटा को नॉन सेलेक्टिवली बीटा 1 मतलब बीटा 1 को भी ब्लॉक करेंगे, बीटा 2 को भी ब्लॉक करेंगे और अल्फा को भी ब्लॉक करेंगे. सो उसमें क्या होता है? लेबेटोलॉल एंड कार्वेडिलॉल. ओके, लेबेटोलॉल एंड कार्वेडिलॉल, लेबेटोलॉल कार्वेडिलॉल. सो रिमेंबर नॉन सेलेक्टिव में 3 क्लास आता है. फर्स्ट क्लास है विदाउट इंट्रिंसिक सिंपैथोमाइमेटिक एक्टिविटी. सो नॉन सेलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर विदाउट इंट्रिंसिक सिंपैथेटिक एक्टिविटी. सो प्रोप्रानोलॉल, सोटेलॉल, टिमोलॉल. एंड नॉन सेलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर विथ sympathetic intrinsic sympathetic activity, pindolol. Now non-selective beta blocker with additional alpha blocking activity, labetalol and carvedilol. इसके ऊपर क्वेश्चन ऑलरेडी 2 बार आ चुके हैं, क्लासिफिकेशन के ऊपर 2 बार क्वेश्चन आ चुके हैं. तो और एक बार मैं क्लासिफिकेशन आपको बोलता हूँ यहाँ पे, ठीक है. सो बीटा ब्लॉकर्स, नॉन सेलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर्स. नॉन सेलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर्स आर आल्सो क्लासिफाइड इनटू 3 सब क्लासेस. नॉन सेलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर विदाउट intrinsic sympathomimetic activity, propranolol, sotalol, timolol. Non-selective beta blocker with intrinsic sympathomimetic activity, pindolol. Non-selective beta blocker with additional alpha blocking activity, carvedilol, labetalol. Now second, selective beta 1 blockers. They are known as cardioselective beta 1 blockers. Okay, cardioselective beta 1 blockers. तो उसमें क्या आता है देखो, मेटोप्रोलॉल, एटेनिलॉल, एसिटापेटोलॉल, बिसोप्रोलॉल, इस्मोलॉल, बिटाक्सोलॉल, सेलिप्रोलॉल एंड नेबिहोलॉल. ओके, सो मेटोप्रोलॉल, एटेनिलॉल, एसिटापेटोलॉल, बिसोप्रोलॉल, इस्मोलॉल, बिटाक्सोलॉल, सेलिप्रोलॉल, नेबिहोलॉल. तो इसमें आप ट्रिक बना लो कुछ ऐसा, इसमें कुछ नाम वगैरह करके आप बना सकते हो, जैसे MA कुछ आप अपने तरीके से ट्रिक बना सकते हो. नाउ beta adrenergic blocking drugs again classified according to their generation. So first generation कौन है? So propranolol, timolol, sotalol, pindolol. So older generation means non-selective drug. So they are non-selective beta blocker. Propranolol, timolol, sotalol, pindolol. Second generation means cardio-selective beta blocker, that is selective beta 1 blocker. So इनमें आएगा आपको metoprolol, atenolol, acetopetolol, bisoprolol, ismolol. Now third generation means beta blocker having additional alpha blocking activity. Third generation. So labetalol, carvedilol, celiprolol, nebivolol and bitoxolol. So additional alpha blocking or vasodilator property. So this is the classification of beta blocker. बहुत ही important है classification of beta blocker. बाय हार्ट करना है. सिलेक्टिव कार्डियो सिलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर याद रखो आप. नॉन सिलेक्टिव में 3 क्लास आता है. ये तीनों क्लासेस का एग्जांपल्स याद रखो, बाय हुक और बाय क्रुक. उसके बाद में जनरेशन तो इजीली समझ में आएगा आपको. जनरेशन मतलब नॉन सिलेक्टिव में फर्स्ट जनरेशन में आता है, सिलेक्टिव कार्डियो सिलेक्टिव सेकंड जनरेशन में आता है, और थर्ड जनरेशन में आता है विथ अल्फा ब्लॉकिंग विथ एडिशनल अल्फा ब्लॉकिंग और वैसोडाइलेटर। तो आउट ऑफ दैट दिस नेवी, ये जो है नेबियोलोल, इट हैज़ अ बीटा ब्लॉकिंग एक्टिविटी विथ एडिशनल वैसोडाइलेटर प्रॉपर्टी। जैसे ये लेबेडोलॉल जो है वो अल्फा ब्लॉकर है, कार्बेडाइलॉल जो है वो अल्फा ब्लॉकर है, मतलब बीटा ब्लॉकर प्लस अल्फा ब्लॉकर। लेकिन ये बाकी नेबियोलोल जो है इट इज़ अ वैसोडाइलेटर इन एडिशन टू बीटा ब्लॉकिंग एक्टिविटी। नाउ विल सी, जैसे 10% पे आएगा। सो बीटा ब्लॉकिंग एजेंट, बीटा ब्लॉकर्स, अगेन विल सी द, सो बीटा ब्लॉकर्स मैकेनिज्म क्या है। सो दिस ड्रग ब्लॉक द एक्शंस ऑफ कैटेकोलामाइंस कॉम्पिटिटिवली एंड सिलेक्टिवली बाय एक्टिंग ऑन अ बीटा रिसेप्टर। सो नॉर एड्रेनालिन क्या करेगा, रिलीज होके बीटा रिसेप्टर के ऊपर जाएगा और उसका, बिकॉज नॉर एड्रेनालिन इज अ बीटा एगोनिस्ट, एड्रेनालिन इज अ बीटा एगोनिस्ट, सिम्पैथोमाइमेटिक्स आर द एगोनिस्ट, सिम्पैथोलाइटिक मतलब वो they will block the actions. Okay? So beta blocker means they will block the beta receptor. So these drug block the actions of catecholamines competitively and selectively on the beta receptor by inhibiting the activity of cell membrane enzyme known as adenyl cyclase. Okay, they will inhibit the adenyl cyclase and decreases the production of cyclic AMP and later on the cascade. So most of these receptors are a G protein coupled receptor. Okay. Now first cardioselective beta 1 blocker, they are known as second generation, we have seen. So acetabuterol, atenolol, metoprolol, bisoprolol, esmolol. So esmolol also has an intrinsic sympathomimetic activity. Then non-selective beta blocker, they can block both beta 1 plus beta 2. They are also known as a first generation beta blocker. Now in that you have different classes. Beta blocker with membrane stabilizing effect, example is a propranolol. इसके ऊपर क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. So beta blocker with membrane stabilizing effect. Membrane stabilizing effect we have seen in the local anesthetic. So the membrane stabilizing means it will block the sodium ion channel. It will not alter the resting membrane potential of the membrane, but it will only prevent the entry of sodium inside the cell. So that is a membrane stabilizing effect. So that's why this propranolol is also used as a anti-arrhythmic drug. So those drugs which have membrane stabilizing effect, they also used as a anti-arrhythmic drug. Non-selective beta blocker with membrane stabilizing effect, propranolol. Second, membrane stabilizing effect plus intrinsic sympathomimetic activity, for example oxypurinol and pindolol. Now third category in that, selective beta blocker without above actions, मतलब selective beta blocker without this membrane stabilization and intrinsic sympathomimetic. So timolol and nodelol, miscellaneous sotalol. Now beta blocker with additional alpha blocking property known as a third generation, labetalol, carvedilol, celiprolol. We have already seen the classification. Pharmacological actions of beta blocker. So first one is nothing but the, so all beta blockers will not be discussed, only propranolol will be discussed as a prototype. So उनका जो प्रोटोटाइप होता है propranolol, उसके बारे में डिटेल में देखेंगे एक्शंस, बाकी के जो है उनका एक्शन भी उसी सिमिलर एक्शन नहीं रहता है, बस प्लस माइनस रहता है डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द सिलेक्टिविटी. नाउ फर्स्ट membrane stabilizing action. So propranolol and some other beta blockers will have membrane stabilizing effect. They have variable direct depression effect on the myocardium of heart, and that's why they are also useful in the antiarrhythmic, as an antiarrhythmic. Now intrinsic sympathomimetic action. Some beta blockers, we have seen the classification. Some beta blockers have beta stimulant activity, that means intrinsic activity. Okay? Some beta blocker will have intrinsic sympathomimetic, मतलब beta stimulant also. For example partial agonist, जैसे partial agonist होता है. So partial agonist क्या है कि that will combine with the receptor but will not produce full action, will produce partial action. That means in the other says, मतलब क्या पूरा action नहीं दिखाता, मतलब क्या, मतलब blocker भी बोल सकते हैं उसको और stimulant भी बोल सकते हैं, like this. So those beta blockers with sympathomimetic activity, so they are such kind of drug. So some beta blockers also have beta stimulant activity, that is a partial agonistic property and is having intrinsic sympathomimetic activity. Primary beta blocking action of this drug, in fact, most responsible for the beneficial effect as well as adverse effect. What is the effect of beta blockers on CNS? Due to lipid solubility of drug, they can cross blood-brain barrier. They will have high lipid solubility and they can cross the blood-brain barrier. What are the adverse effects on CNS? So they can cause mood alteration, mood change, anxiety, okay, particularly with propranolol. Atenolol has a least lipid solubility. So propranolol को जो है lipid solubility बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. So propranolol is a class 1 drug. Biopharmaceutical classification of drug: class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. So class 1 means high solubility, high permeability. Class 2 means high solubility, less permeability. Class 3 means high permeability, less solubility. Class 4 means less solubility, less permeability. So class first drug जो है वो propranolol है. So it can cross the PPV and show adverse effect. But atenolol जो है that is having least lipid solubility. Okay. Now what is the effect because of the beta blocking? Effect of beta blockage. So in presence of increased sympathetic tone, मतलब जहाँ पे सिंपैथेटिक स्टिमुलेशन हो चुका है, नॉर एड्रेनलिन रिलीज हो चुके हैं, हार्ट में जाके हार्ट रेट बढ़ाया है, फोर्स ऑफ कंट्रैक्शन बढ़ाया है, कंडक्शन बढ़ाया है, तो हाइपरटेंशन हो गया. सो इन दैट कंडीशन बीटा ब्लॉकर विल डिक्रीज ऑल दिस. ओके. सो इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ इंक्रीज सिंपैथेटिक टोन दे विल रिड्यूस द ऑटोमेटिसिटी ऑफ हार्ट. ओके. दे विल रिड्यूस द ऑटोमेटिसिटी, decrease the heart rate, they will decrease the myocardial contractility, and thus they will decrease the cardiac output. Also they will decrease the stroke volume and will slow down the conduction. They reduces the myocardial oxygen consumption and relaxes the muscle. Okay. And increases the exercise tolerance. So these are the action due to beta blockage. They reduces the blood pressure. Okay. They reduces the blood pressure by their action on heart on cardiac output. Because of reduction of cardiac output, blood pressure will decrease, and also they will decrease the plasma renin activity. Now selective alpha blockers, they act on only beta 1 receptor. Selective beta blockers, that means they will act on only on beta 1 receptor present in the heart. They will not affect the beta 2 receptor. So non-selective beta blocker, they has additional action on bronchi. So जो beta non-selective beta blocker होता है वो बीटा 1 को भी ब्लॉक करता है, बीटा 2 को भी. नॉन सेलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर्स, इट कैन ब्लॉक बीटा 1 आल्सो एंड बीटा 2 आल्सो. बीटा 1 is present in the heart but beta 2 is present in the bronchi. Okay. So beta 2 action is adverse effect of that. Okay. So they can increase the airway resistance. Beta 2 receptor in the bronchi are responsible for the bronchodilation. अगर बीटा ब्लॉकर देंगे नॉन सेलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर तो वो वहाँ पे क्या करेगा, कंस्ट्रिक्शन करेगा, तो वो अनडिजायर्ड है. सो बीटा 1 ब्लॉकिंग एक्टिविटी तो डिजायर्ड है. जैसे मान लीजिए कि आपको हाइपरटेंशन है, सो इन हाइपरटेंशन बीटा 1 ब्लॉकिंग इज डिजायर्ड. ओके. बट नॉन सेलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर क्या करते हैं कि दोनों को ब्लॉक करेंगे. सो बीटा 1 को भी बीटा 2 को. बीटा 2 कहाँ पे, लंग्स में, ब्रोंकियल स्मूथ मसल में. ओके. वहाँ पे क्या रोल है उनका, ब्रोंकोडाइलेशन. बट ड्यू टू नॉन सेलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर, so they block beta 1 as well as beta 2, so they will decrease your blood pressure, no doubt, but they will also cause bronchoconstriction, that is airway resistance. So they will increase the airway resistance, which could be dangerous in the patient with asthma. So that's why remember one thing over here, non-selective beta blockers are absolutely contraindicated in the patient with asthma. Non-selective beta blocker जो है, जो अस्थमा का पेशेंट है उसमें यूज़ नहीं करेंगे, उसमें सिर्फ कार्डियो सेलेक्टिव बीटा ब्लॉकर यूज़ करेंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि अगर बीटा 2 को ब्लॉक करेंगे तो वो फिर वहाँ पे वो अस्थमा उसका एक्सरबेट हो जाएगा. नाउ व्हाट इज द मेटाबॉलिक इफेक्ट ऑफ दिस बीटा ब्लॉकर? दे आर कैपेबल और अल्टरिंग द कार्बोहाइड्रेट मेटाबॉलिज्म. दे कैन ऑल्सो इंक्रीज द natriuretic peptide. इतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. सो दे आर कैपेबल ऑफ अल्टरिंग एंड मॉडिफाइंग द कार्बोहाइड्रेट लिपिड मेटाबॉलिज्म. They also increase the natriuretic peptide. What is the action of beta blocker on eye? Eyes में क्या action है? So beta blocker in the eyes, they can reduce the formation of intraocular. They can prevent the formation of aqueous humor in the eyes, and that's why they can reduce the intraocular pressure when used locally. That's why they are used in case of your glaucoma. So glaucoma में क्या होता है कि intraocular प्रेशर बढ़ता है. इंट्राओकुलर प्रेशर बढ़ने के 2 रीज़न होते हैं. फर्स्ट रीज़न एक्सेसिव जनरेशन ऑफ योर एक्वियस ह्यूमर. सेकंड रीज़न डिक्रीज इन द फ्लो ऑफ एक्वियस ह्यूमर. एक्वियस ह्यूमर का फ्लो ब्लॉक होने की वजह से भी प्रेशर बढ़ता है. एक्वियस ह्यूमर का ब्लॉक होता है, फ्लो बाहर नहीं निकलता वो, दैट्स वाई वो उसका प्रेशर बढ़ जाता है, इंट्राओकुलर प्रेशर. या फिर आपका इफ देर इज़ अ ओवर सिंथेसिस ऑफ एक्वियस ह्यूमर और इफ देर इज़ अ ब्लॉकेज ऑफ outflow of aqueous humor. So there are two reasons for increase in the intraocular tension. First one is excessive production of aqueous humor, that is governed by beta receptor beta, and blockage of outflow of aqueous humor from eyes, that is governed by alpha 1 receptor. That's why alpha 1 blockers are also used in the glaucoma, and beta receptor blockers are also used in this glaucoma. Okay, now what are the adverse reaction? So propranolol, metoprolol, they are metabolized in the body, okay, in the liver. They will show first pass effect. So particularly propranolol will show highest first pass effect. Now propranolol will be metabolized to one metabolite known as a 4-hydroxypropranolol. Propranolol का metabolite कौन है? 4-hydroxypropranolol. This was question in GPAT again. Okay, so